Hello and welcome to the Weekend Wrap-Up. I'm Brooke Buckner. Our top story this week, a triple homicide that shocked two communities. Maya Ellison continues to follow this story for us. She breaks down the investigation and the legacy the victims leave behind.
Pretty wild, man. Like there's never even been like a noise complaint in this neighborhood. And then all of a sudden, 3 people are just dead.
Derek Helms lives 2 doors down from where tragedy struck. Bryant police responded to a shooting call around 7:30 Sunday morning at a home on Lena Drive.
The father came home to just a horrific scene. So he called 911 and all officers got dispatched out to the address on Lena Lane. They got there and what they found was 3 people inside the home. They were all deceased.
Sergeant Todd Krausen says children were also inside the home, but they were not injured.
My wife and I are here with our daughter, and she played with those kids, you know? Like they would draw chalk on the sidewalk and ride their scooters together, and now they're just, we don't even know what happened.
Sergeant Krausen tells THV11 that investigators were able to use home security camera footage to identify the suspect. And by Sunday afternoon, police announced the arrest of 34-year-old Jared Mitchell in connection to the triple murder of his sister and parents.
And they knew that the brother of one of the victims was at the home during that time frame. And using the videos that they got, they were able to see, yes, that was his truck.
Today, Benton police share the names of the 3 shooting victims.
And Michael Jennings, which I believe is going to be the stepfather. His wife, Monica Jennings, which is the mom. And then the sister is Kayla Mitchell.
And for those in the community, the incident comes as a shock.
They were always outside in the garage. Like they would wave to me every time I passed, no matter how many times. They just seemed like a really nice family, and then this happened.
I've been here coming on Bryant 25 years and have never seen anything like this.
2 o'clock is when this window would have usually opened at the Snow Shack on Shannon Hills Drive. Owners Monica and Michael Jennings spent summer days greeting customers looking to cool off with an icy treat.
They'd learn everybody's preferences, and so whenever they pulled up, oh yeah, you want a such and such, and they're ready for them. And they've been a part of our community now for years.
Those moments, now memories for the community.
It was literal shock. That's what it's been for our whole community.
Shannon Hills Mayor Mike Kemp remembers hearing the news on Sunday. Monica, Michael, and their daughter Kayla Mitchell shot and killed in their home in Bryant.
It's hard to believe it's even true. It seems like it's a nightmare. It really, none of us can make any sense of it.
Bryant police responded to a shooting call on Lena Drive around 7:30 that morning. When they arrived, they found the 3 inside the home, dead. By Sunday afternoon, 34-year-old Jared Mitchell was in custody, charged with the triple murder of his sister and parents.
We considered them part of the Shannon Hills family, and they're missed. They're missed.
Outside of Snow Shack, flowers and notes are lined up across the lawn. Mayor Kemp says someone even volunteered to mow the grass, just another way everyone is paying their respects, and a promise for the victim's family.
Everyone's purpose here is just to make sure that the surviving family members know that they were loved. That if there's anything that any of us here at Shannon Hills can do for them, we'll do it.
In Shannon Hills, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Maya. Staying in Saline County, community members packed a high school auditorium this week to voice their concerns following a deadly dog attack in Alexander. We first told you about the tragedy 2 weeks ago when a pack of dogs killed a 15-year-old girl. People in that area and across the county are now calling for action. Catherine Rowley was at that packed meeting and breaks down what happened.
But this issue is also a public health and public safety issue.
People in Saline County say the issue of dogs has been a public health and public safety issue for years. There are currently not a lot of resources in Saline County for humane societies and animal control resources that have run thin for decades. Now, Stephanie Johnson, who is a justice of the peace for District 12 in the county, feels it's time for more action.
So it's the county government has failed in its basic job of safety, but it's just various things that could be done if the quorum court as a whole would want to work together to try to solve this problem.
Many people in Monday night's town hall also asking for ordinances to crack down on spay and neuter laws. Leela Chisholm, who has lived in the county her whole life, brought up the idea of a task force to handle animal control.
So that would be one thing I would like to see, is a collaboration of every single municipality in the county to come together to form a task force so that they can address this.
Several people sharing their own experiences with dogs and how aggressive they are, including Michelle Griffith, the victim of the dog attack last Friday. Her son tells me that what started as an exercise at night to avoid the heat turned into a life-altering attack. He too says that there needs to be more resources in the county available, including the use of a tranquilizer.
In any case, that would let you know that, number one, that the dog was safe somewhere for somebody to identify this dog. That way the victim could know. It would save a lot of trouble and problems for multiple families in this event.
Now, it's worth noting in 2008, voters in Saline County did reject a tax that would have built an animal shelter. Judge Brumley also says he has talked with state representatives in the past. Still, the people who spoke this week fear if something isn't done soon, another attack could happen, or worse, another life might be lost. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says more than 4,000 teachers will see a bonus on their paychecks this year. It's part of a merit pay program included within the Arkansas Learns Act. The program itself requires some clarity, so Carter Thweet sat down with the Secretary of Education to answer frequent questions.
I asked Secretary Jacob Oliva the big questions when it comes to these teacher bonuses. Who's eligible? How do you decide who gets them? And what would you say to teachers who didn't?
One of the big initiatives was raising starting teaching salaries, and also another big initiative was establishing a teacher merit pay system.
And Arkansas's Secretary of Education tells me that second priority is now in full swing. In 2024, around 3,000 teachers got a bonus of up to $10,000. This year, that number is up to 4,200.
Some of the criteria is pretty simple. You have to be a licensed teacher, you have to spend 70% of your time with students, and you have to have either an effective or highly effective annual evaluation.
There are other areas where teachers can also get a bonus if they teach in a critical shortage area or if they mentor a resident teacher. But the question still remains. With 4,200 teachers receiving bonuses, that still leaves over 25,000 that didn't, according to Oliva.
Just over 30,000 teachers are eligible that meet the basic criteria in the state.
So what's the message from Oliva to that group of teachers? He emphasizes that there's no set limit on the number of teachers that can get bonuses. And just like the number grew this year, he hopes more and more teachers will strive to meet the criteria.
We want to work with those teachers to get them on a path towards licensure. We want to make sure that every teacher is rated effectively or highly effectively. We would love to see every teacher qualify at some point, but they've got to meet those high expectations.
For THV 11 News, I'm Carter Thweet.
Secretary Oliva says there has been some consideration over awarding principals and assistant principals with bonuses. Democratic State Senator Fred Love has officially announced his run for governor. He says his campaign will focus on empowering communities and protecting public schools. He's also shared an economic plan aimed at growing local economies with proposals to boost small businesses, invest in infrastructure, and align education with job creation through partnerships with schools and HBCUs. Now to an update on lithium here in the natural state, as the Oil and Gas Commission has approved Saltworks' request for the same 2.5% rate they gave SWA Lithium last month. A 2024 study estimates there is anywhere from 5 to 11 tons of lithium in Arkansas, and that rate determines what the companies would pay Arkansans to extract it from under their land. With fees included, payments could total to more than $500 per acre each year. Smoke shops and stores selling Delta 8 are trying to figure out what's next after a block on a law banning the products is reversed. Maya Ellison takes a look at how we got here and what the decision means for the future.
Back in 2023, we at THV 11 shared news of a new bill aimed at banning Delta 8 from being sold in the natural state. It's a product you can find in places like gas stations and even smoke shops. Well, that bill eventually passed, becoming Act 629, and today, state officials met to share a few updates they say is a huge win for the state.
How can this stuff be legal?
Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin announcing a new court ruling that could reinstate a ban on Delta 8 products across the state. The law, Act 629, was passed in 2023, but was blocked by a federal judge amid lawsuits from local sellers, which allowed the products to stay on shelves until now.
Let's get the feds to expressly say that's not what we meant. We did not mean to allow this stuff.
Attorney General Griffin says his office, along with state leaders, got the 8th Circuit involved. It was their decision that led to the reversal of the freeze and to clarify the language of the law.
The 8th Circuit dismissed the part of the suit against the governor and me, said that's ridiculous, that's gone. The 8th Circuit found the Farm Bill, federal Farm Bill, does not preempt Arkansas law, and our law is not vague. It's crystal clear.
Griffin says it removes loopholes for businesses like smoke shops and gas stations to sell these products, making it illegal. We spoke with Senator Tyler Dees, who introduced the bill. He says while they waited for a decision, there was a price to pay.
Made to look like easy to open packaging, high color, high gloss, characters, made to look like gummies and brownies and really fun and approachable products, when in reality they're very dangerous and they were never intended for our youth.
Advocate Melissa Fultz shares similar stories, but says she believes the solution to the problem lies somewhere else.
Restrict, test, register, and allow. But don't just leave it alone. Don't ban it, but don't just let it continue like it is.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
If you live in Hot Springs or visit on the weekends, you may know that you can't purchase alcohol on a Sunday. But this week, some locals are trying to change that. Carter Thweed asks them why and explains how this process could work.
This has only been a reality in Arkansas since 2009.
According to Scott Harden with Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage Control, that's when state lawmakers made it legal to sell alcohol on a Sunday. Kind of. It was legal to sell at restaurants and bars before that, but Act 294 made it okay to sell at liquor stores and gas stations, if local voters said yes.
In order to get it on the ballot, in order for your city to put it on the ballot and let citizens vote on it, you have to collect signatures of 15% of voters. You get 15%, it goes to a vote.
It's a process that a group called Keep Our Dollars in Hot Springs is now beginning. Their chairperson is a Hot Springs native, 26-year-old Tyler Draper, who tells me he doesn't even really like to drink, but just thinks this is a good idea that would benefit everyone.
Tourists who come here, they don't know, and so they can be blindsided. And it would also provide sales tax to the city, which would, increase our economic development and our what's in our budget.
One local liquor store manager agrees. Justin Konechka has been at Ruby's Fine Wine and Liquor on Central Avenue for 15 years. He says there could be concerns from other liquor store owners about having to staff an extra day, but in his view, it presents exciting possibilities.
It's an option. We don't have to be open on a Sunday, or you can be open on a Sunday and choose a different day to be closed. Or you can stay open 7 days a week.
If Draper's group is able to get the signatures and then get the measure passed, it would make Hot Springs the first city in central Arkansas to make this change.
I was in Fayetteville, Springdale, Northwest Arkansas, and I had saw how they were selling on Sundays, so I thought, Hot Springs being a tourist city, I think we could do it too.
In Hot Springs, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
If successful, Draper anticipates this issue would be on the ballot in November of 2026. If you're interested in signing the petition or just learning more about it, you can find that information on our website, thv11.com.
Should we go ahead and get married? Should we wait? Do we want to panic the next 6 months and hope that it's okay in 6 months? Or should we just go ahead and do it?
Coming up on the weekend wrap-up, a look back at the road to marriage equality in Arkansas and a look forward at the possible legal fights still ahead. This week marked 10 years since the U.S. Supreme Court's landmark decision of Obergefell versus Hodges, legalizing same-sex marriage across the country. And while it may feel like we've reached the finish line for marriage equality, some fear that right could still be taken away. THV 11 executive producer Lauren Johnston looks back on how we got here and what happens next.
Pride Month is a celebration of the LGBTQIA+ community in all its forms. It's a time to make a statement, highlight show-stopping creativity, and fierce talent. It's a party. It's also
Pride is about resistance. Pride is about a fight.
a riot, more like it. That's how the first Pride really began. In June 1969, police raided the Stonewall Inn, a not-so-underground gay bar in New York City. Raids like this happened all the time, but on that June night in '69, people turned the Stonewall raid into a riot, which turned into a gay rights revolution. In the decades since, the fight, the riot for equality, hasn't stopped in America or in Arkansas, especially when it comes to the legal right to marry who you love.
The THV 10 o'clock difference with tonight's big story, Your Vote, 2004.
Election night in Arkansas, 2004. The natural state goes red for George W. Bush, helping elect him to his second term in the White House. And like many other states that year, Arkansas asked voters to define marriage.
Marriage in Arkansas ought to be a man and a woman, and that's what the people have affirmed this evening.
We adopted a ban on same-sex marriage into the Arkansas Constitution in 2004 as part of that trend.
Fast forward to 2013, when the U.S. Supreme Court struck down part of the Defense of Marriage Act, the 1996 federal law that banned same-sex marriage. A move that UA Little Rock professor of law Joshua Silverstein says got the ball rolling everywhere.
There was just an avalanche of litigation with the vast majority of courts around the country ruling that same-sex marriage was protected.
A year later in Arkansas, Pulaski County Circuit Court Judge Chris Piazza, amid lawsuits from local couples, ruled against the state's ban, calling it unconstitutional. And for the next 8 days, while the legal debates raged, the race to get married was on. County courthouses flooded with same-sex couples, not wanting to miss the chance to secure a legal marriage license, worried the window would close once again. But then on June 26, 2015, the fight at the state level became moot. In Obergefell v. Hodges, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the right to marry is guaranteed to same-sex couples under the Constitution.
When all Americans are treated as equal, we are all more free.
Stand up, fight back! Back to the present, where Pride Month brought hundreds of people out to Little Rock's Soma neighborhood in early June, including newlyweds Whitney Butler and Victoria Capek.
We felt a little fearful of what was going to happen.
As fiancés, they'd planned a small wedding ceremony for May. But months before, on the heels of the 2024 presidential election, Whitney says they felt the need to take a more proactive approach.
Should we go ahead and get married? Should we wait? So one random Friday afternoon, we met a judge in Benton and got married legally. We were like, this is not going to be our wedding date. This isn't going to be a day of an anniversary, but this is just going to be a day where we solidified the joy and kind of took ownership of the fear.
That fear of what could happen, even after a decade of marriage equality in the U.S., it's something Professor Silverstein says is not unfounded.
I think that Justice Thomas and Justice Alito would clearly vote to overturn Obergefell as soon as they get the chance to do so. The three liberals on the court definitely would not. What would the remaining four do? It's anybody's guess. But there are already states passing statutes and possibly some litigation that's begun to try to overturn Obergefell just the way they did Roe. So there's tremendous legal uncertainty, and the answer is we just don't know.
So in the meantime, Pride Month marches on, and it's clear that the fight, the riot for equality, is far from over.
Although it is so much fun to celebrate with each other and wear our rainbows and be proud, with the amount of people who are living fearfully, specifically Black and brown trans individuals, we still have so far to go, and that's what a reminder of Pride is.
Lauren Johnston, THV 11 News.
Lauren, thank you. When it comes to LGBTQ rights here in Arkansas, our state consistently ranks as one of the worst in the country. In a study out this month from Out Leadership, Arkansas is dead last in the rankings. The research looked at state policies or laws that negatively impact LGBTQ people, giving credit to those that have protections in place. Most recently, Arkansas's law known as the SAFE Act, which bans gender-affirming care for trans minors, was ruled unconstitutional. But the Supreme Court's ruling on a case in Tennessee could allow for that law to be reconsidered in the future. Black musicians in Arkansas are making waves in jazz, pop, and more. After the break, part 3 of our Black Music Month series. Stay with us. When you hear the phrase Arkansas music, your mind might not immediately jump to genre-bending musicians or multi-band collaborators, but that's exactly who you'll find here. It's week 3 of our Black Music Month series. This week, Journey Taylor shows us why Arkansas continues to be a place where Black artists master multiple genres and build something special together.
In Arkansas, Black musicians aren't just mastering one sound.
Styles from the unknown, miles from the unshown.
They're making their mark across genres.
My name is Rodney Block, local Little Rock musician. I'm a creative. I play the trumpet and I play all sorts of music.
Building something up while staying rooted in hometown pride and community.
From Dumas, Arkansas.
What's funny? What are you laughing at? What's funny about that?
I don't know, it's always funny to me when Dumas.
While his beginnings may seem small, Rodney's traveled the world. Playing everything from jazz, classical music, Afrobeats, and country music. And he does it while carrying the names of people you may not even realize got their start right here in the natural state.
People know Louis Jordan, Brinkley, Arkansas, Al Green, soul music, gospel musician. I think Arkansas is still developing what that Arkansas sound is. It's not because that the artists are not here. It's not because the artists are not making an impact, because we've made an impact.
That impact continues through Emmy-nominated composer, performing artist, and producer Daz King Honey Murray.
You'd be surprised. I've been categorized as a rapper with a guitar in hand.
Her sound bends genres from Black Baptist roots to rock to punk and to hip hop. And she says it all starts with where she's from.
I mean, the South defines sound in general, I believe. I love Arkansas because the breeding ground is so rich. I mean, we literally have diamonds in our ground here. You know, like that. Who else can say that? You know, such rich soil and so much grows from here. And I believe it's because we have such a vast space and opportunity for creatives.
Like many other artists, Daz says her musical journey started by connecting with other Arkansas musicians.
When I started in this industry here, Bijou was one of my first stops.
Daughter of West African parents, Bijou says it's her Arkansas roots that help that community feel, grow, and flourish.
I'm very proud to perform in Arkansas. I'm very proud to be on tour in Arkansas, which is what I tell people. People ask me if I travel. I say I've been on tour in Arkansas for 17 years.
A vocal powerhouse who grew up immersed in rock, pop, country, and Catholic hymns, Bijou says her focus is simple.
While you can be a purist and say that this specific thing is bluegrass, this is traditional country, this is R&B, this is neo-soul, to a certain extent, I'm not so concerned about that until it's Grammy time. Did I do a show that people enjoyed? Do people like the music? Are the songs good?
But it's more than that, as all three work to build a community of collaboration.
I have been fortunate to work, I think I'm in like 7 bands today, Arkansans, and we don't have to go look for, let's go find somebody from Philly. It'll be so much better then. Like, no, we get to work with hometown.
For these 3 artists, genre isn't a limit, it's a tool. And home isn't a stepping stone, it's a foundation and a place to build on the legacy already established.
I think if you feel led, go, but what you'll find is that everything that you get from out there has some kind of tie back, right back to Arkansas.
Music can take you anywhere you want to go. That's the great thing about it. So it's great to be from Arkansas and Dumas and tell people that I'm a country boy.
Don't miss the last installment of Journey Series Monday on the brand new THV 11 Morning News. And if you missed the others, you can find them right now on the THV 11 YouTube channel. That's it for this weekend wrap up. We'll see you next week.